Dum da da da.
Ta-dun, ta-dun.
Welcome back to High Heels Happy Hour.
Welcome.
I'm still Christina,
I'm Ingrid.
and this is the podcast where we talk about everything we want to talk about:
Yes, from A to Z.
lifestyle, health, wellness, you name it, we'll discuss it. How you doing?
Good.
Good.
So, check in. We always check in.
Yeah.
Busy week. Comp soccer still going. Soccer goes all year round, and then we had high school volleyball and now comp volleyball. So it's gonna get
Not comp, but club.
Club. Sorry,
Yes.
I call it comp. It's club, but it's gonna get ready to get busy. We're going to Philly this year. How about you?
We're going to Philly this year, too.
That's right. Okay.
Yep. Seasons are revving up. We have a week of no sports this week, so that's exciting for us.
Feels
but
weird.
I'm sure someone will squeeze something in. No, we've had a great time. We had a weekend away. Me and hubby were invited to the west coast of Florida for a super fun party, 2-party section. And so, yeah.
You're recovering.
Yeah. With dinner and dancing and Halloween and all the good stuff. But so fun. So, such an international crowd. There were people from all over flying in. So, it's really fun.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes. So, what's your hack?
So, my hack, I have really good coverage on so you can't see what I did to myself.
Oh.
So,
I was going to say, we have a new light and it's very bright.
Yes.
I'm a little like,
so
shocked.
I got
okay
cupping for your face.
All right.
And I loved it so much yesterday.
Uh-huh.
I gave myself some hickeys.
Oh.
It felt so good.
I've done that on my thigh with little cups like that.
I'll post a link.
Uh-huh.
But it comes with different sizes. This is more for like the cheek area. And
so what do? Like drag it?
You place it on your
suck
skin.
It?
You squeeze.
Yeah.
You suck it.
Uh-huh.
And then you drag it.
Okay, so you have to have some kind of serum or something.
Yes. So this today, shout out to Cheryl. It's our beauty
Cheryl
oil.
Zupa with a glow spa.
You could use serums, but sometimes serums will dry up faster.
So you could use castor oil.
You could do that. Yeah, castor oil. But if you're local, Cheryl has a really nice beauty oil. And then they have little ones for the eye area.
Does it depuff?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Where did you find those cups?
I will post the link.
Okay. I want those.
And here you go up and then your lymphatic drainage is back here. So whenever you move or you suction, you always end up here. And then it depends how puffy you are. You can actually feel the post drip.
Yeah, because I always get puffy eyes when I don't. I wish I didn't sleep last night. So.
Victor was asking why I had bruises on my face. And it felt so good. Depuffing, lifting, affirming, everything. And you just kind of, again, you suck it.
Yeah.
I mean, you press it. Yeah. Then it inhales the skin. And then you just move it. It doesn't hurt. It actually feels good. But apparently it suctions enough that then this morning I woke up with bruises.
So you had a really good
And it looked like hickeys. So now that I've shared my hack, Christina, what's yours?
By the way, I want that. So
I will post it on the show notes.
Got an extra then. Yes. I'll take it. So my hack is, I might have mentioned this. You might want to turn the lights off for this one. But I have.
Let's see. You let me know which button. Well, you know which button it is.
I mean, and it's so festive. If you're not on YouTube, you should be, because this is a very festive hack. No, but this is a red light facial mask. It looks like RoboCop, right?
Yeah, or Terminator.
I think more like RoboCop. It's a very futuristic looking red light mask. So you can do red light. I'll show this on YouTube as well. You can do blue light. No, this is mixed light, red and blue, and then blue. So, let me turn it off. It is a red light mask, and it is the Dr. Gross, I think it's called. Dr. Gross. It is, I will say, it is not cheap.
Okay.
I did a lot of research. So why I've been doing red light. I've told you guys before that I've done red light. I'm going to change the color of the light there, which is great for the skin and cellulite and all that good stuff. So when I was leaving for Sweden, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get any red light. And so I decided, you know what? I need to bring something that's portable. And really the face, I love it all over the body, but really the face is the most important thing. So I bought this, and you only need to use it once a day for 3 minutes. The cycle is 3 minutes.
Okay.
So it's a super, and I read all the reviews. This one got the highest because it has the most intense lights, and therefore probably also why it's the most expensive. But I will say I highly recommend it. I notice it, well, I do think my skin has been doing pretty well and not aging as fast as it could be. But I also notice it in discolorations, like dark spots has gotten a lot better.
Okay.
So I'm sure my esthetician will tell me next time I go to her. But no, I really, and it's been shown, there's controversy about everything, but I've never read anything bad about red light. There are no downsides. You hear downsides to cold therapy and this and that, but red light therapy, no downsides. It's great for your the mitochondria and skin health and all that. This one, the different color lights too. The blue light is for acne. The mixed light is if you have acne and lines and wrinkles.
Yes.
So my daughter is having some issues with acne, so she uses it as well. So we get 2 for 1 on it. And since it's only 3 minutes, we can both use it same night. So she uses the blue light, I use the red light. And I will put a link to it as well in the show notes. Again, it is not cheap, but I do think you can save on a lot of treatments and definitely
or enhance your treatments that you do.
Yes, and I mean, if you do, for instance, with acne and stuff, if you do a lot of lasers, and that adds up. So I do think that I've used it almost every day, and in Sweden I used it every day. And because it's 3 minutes, it could be like you're lathering up with,
and
body
because
lotion
it's
or whatever.
3 minutes, you can use it. You should use it without serums, especially for acne.
Yes, so I use it without anything underneath. Right when I've cleaned my face, 3 minutes, and then use whatever you want after. So yes, I do recommend it. A little costly, but I think it has definitely been worth it. That's my hack.
All right.
And I'm standing by it. All right, so today we are going to discuss health for dummies. What do we mean with that? So we've done a lot of podcast episodes, and there are a lot of episodes out there where you kind of dive deep into a certain aspect of health. Either it's nutrition or exercise or whatever it is. And sometimes I feel like it could get a little too much. So if you were to start somewhere and you say, man, I just need just give me the cliff notes. This episode is the cliff notes. So I've concentrated on 4 areas that you need to concentrate on or do all 4. So I call it the big 4 rocks to master your health. And if you don't know what the rocks mean, then go back, listen to the episodes we've done about rocks, pebbles, and sand. So the rocks are the big, important things you need to concentrate on. Then you can do all the biohacking and all the red light therapy and the cold plunging you want. But if you don't do the basics,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So this is kind of like the foundation of the house. And then we can put all the pretty things on top if we want to, if we have time and money, but we gotta have the foundation,
the core.
So this is it. Yes. So health for dummies, things that anyone can and everyone should do when it comes to mastering your health.
So hopefully you're ready to take notes. And if you're driving,
Yes.
you're going to have to just listen to this again later and take notes.
All right, because in all honesty, you need to be the CEO of your own health. Because our so-called healthcare system is really a sick care system. And no one is going to tell you all the prevention things you can do, because usually when you get into the sick care system, you're sick.
And you stay sick.
Yes, exactly. And this healthcare in the United States is a for-profit business. Something we need to keep in mind. There is money talks, and money is behind the scenes of everything. So when it comes to medications and making sure you stay on medication, it has a value for people in the background that you so do. So really being the CEO is what are the prevention things we can do to keep us out of the hospitals and the doctors' offices and off prescriptions. And with all these 4 different big rocks, it's all about quality, quantity, and consistency. So those 3 I want you to keep in mind through all of it: quality, quantity, consistency. It's not a once and done. No.
Quick fix.
So the number 1 biggest rock that sort of is the foundation of everything for living humans and animals is sleep. You gotta master the sleep. If you have bad sleep, it doesn't matter any of the other ones you do. You gotta do this sleep first and foremost. So number 1 thing to do, really, your sleep or the quality of your sleep starts already in the morning. So getting morning sunlight on your retinas is super important. That tells the body that now it's time to wake up. And that also controls the melatonin production, so that you then 12 hours later will feel that it's time to go to bed. And of course, if you work shifts, this is the one of the most problematic things, is the whole circadian rhythm. So the best thing you can do is when you wake up, get outside in the sunlight to let your body know, okay, it's morning, it's time to get up. Another thing you can do, of course, it's getting out and grounding yourself too when you're at it, putting feet in the grass or on the ground wherever you live. That's it's harder when you live in an apartment complex in a big city, but maybe have a little patch of grass on your balcony if you have a balcony. Yeah. Anyway, so get outside, and it does not count through windows or car windows. Well, if you got to roll the car window down, if you have a convertible, sure, that could help. But just getting outside, take your morning cup of coffee outside, or just stand outside for a little bit. Number 2 of the sleep is consistent bedtime. So that consistency. So even if you're going to a Halloween party the night or another party you're going to, making sure that you try to go to bed at the same time every night.
How did that happen? You were partying.
Well, try to keep it as close to your regular bedtime. Same thing with waking up. Trying to wake up at the same time because otherwise you get what's called social jet lag. And that can often happen, especially now with daylight savings. We just had that. So you get an hour off. So your social jet lag is an hour.
Oh.
But if you go to a party, you stay up, say you go to bed normally at 10 and you stay up till 1 and then you sleep till 10. Now all of a sudden, it's like you've gone from the East Coast to the West Coast. The body is 3 hours wondering what the heck is going on. So that is social jet lag. So by going to bed and waking up at the same times, you avoid that. And then don't eat too close to bed. that will interrupt your sleep as well. And that's, you just think about it. You eat too close to bed. What is your body going to do? You have all this food it needs to process. Is it going to go to sleep, or is it going to take care of the food?
It's going to work.
It's going to have to get to work on that, on breaking down the food you just inhaled right before bedtime. So try to cut, if you can, cut any eating or drinking with any calories off 2 to 3 hours before your bedtime.
It's a little hard with
that's one I'm struggling with, because we eat so late in our family.
With the sports and
with
stuff.
The sports, but I'm trying to, because I know that my sleep is so much worse, and I feel my stomach is really upset when we eat too late, or when I eat too late. So I'm gonna just maybe eat before or something those nights where sport is keeping us up. Yeah. But something to think about if you can. And same thing when, we've talked about fasting and stuff before. An easy thing to do, if you're trying to time restrict your eating, just stop eating earlier. Then it won't be so hard to push breakfast in the morning. You don't have to push it. Just stop eating earlier, and then just have water or tea or something at night. Another thing to cut off before bedtime, of course, is alcohol and caffeine. So with alcohol, I know that sometimes I just like to sip on a glass of wine watching TV. You don't need to eat anything, but you know what? Alcohol can really disrupt sleep. So in that case, if you want to have a glass of wine, have it earlier in the evening instead of later. So maybe before dinner instead of after dinner. Same thing with caffeine. We've had that discussion too, right? Cutting caffeine. If you are someone who gets very affected by caffeine, or your sleep gets interrupted, you need to cut it earlier in the day, because caffeine can stay in your body for about 8 hours.
I don't get affected. I just don't want to sleep.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Just kidding.
Another thing to optimize your sleep is your room, the environment you sleep in. So room temperature, keeping it on the lower side, because your body sleeps better in slightly colder. They say the average room, the best temperature is 68 degrees. That to me is ice cold.
That's freezing.
Yes, but apparently there's been research on that. 68 is apparently ultimate or optimal, but I keep it at 73 at night.
I think 77.
At night?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe you need to work on that to sleep better, because that's pretty hot for sleep.
And I have a really thick.
Oh my goodness!
I cocoon myself.
Okay, so that might be one of the reasons why you're not sleeping.
I love to be warm and cozy.
Well, you can be warm and cozy in the bed, but the air around you should be cooler. That will help with sleep, because. And another thing that helps too is darkness in the room. Trying to keep blackout shades. If you are, some people are more bothered than other, but if you have those electronic clocks, just try to turn it away from the bed so you don't see it. If it's a blue light, avoid it. And if you have any blinking, TV lights or any other electronics, just put some duct tape over it, because darkness helps a lot too. Body temperature helps to be cooler as well when you sleep. So a thing to get your body temperature to calm down is to take a bath or a hot shower about an hour before you go to bed. I notice that if I go in the hot tub at night, then I get super sleepy.
But it's hot.
About an hour. Yes, because your body, but in order for the body to cool down, the whole body cools down and lowers the body temperature. Okay. So you can't do it 10 minutes before bedtime. You need to wait an hour, and the body will have calmed down. Okay. So when the kids were little and had fevers, you were supposed to bathe them in cool water to get the fever down. But now we need to, the opposite, if you don't have a fever, you can go in a hot bath and your body will cool down.
Okay.
All right. That was sleep. Any questions?
Nope.
since we know it's an you're very far back. Oh well, maybe I need to go back too. I'll be close to the microphone. Okay. Anyway, the second big, so we've mastered sleep. The next thing we need to master is movement. Again, that's going to help your sleep too. Being active and moving your body throughout the day will make you sleep better. They've also now, new research have shown, which I think I've mentioned in earlier episodes, sitting is the new smoking. Having a sedentary life, because we spend so much time at desks, in cars, sitting in front of computers, the sedentary lifestyle we're living now is killing us. More so than smoking. Not saying smoking is good or that you should smoke. I'm just saying it's that deadly for us. And we are moving our bodies way too little. So our bodies are made for movement. That's why we have two legs, and that we automatically start moving when we're children. And we are grossly underestimating how much we move. We might think we move, but we really don't. So my first tip is, if you're not already, you should track your number of steps. When you started have you started tracking yet?
I have.
Okay.
And
were you surprised?
Very.
Under, over?
So under.
So under. See, we think we are.
Sometimes I feel like, oh gosh, I should have brought my phone with me, because my phone is what tracks. So if I leave my phone, I'm like, I just lost all those steps because I'm trying to hit a goal. And I didn't realize how little we walk.
Yep.
Especially, I don't like to go shopping. So I do
there you
curbside.
Go. That's why I never do curbside. I never do delivery, because those are free steps.
But sometimes I don't like people. So
you just have to avoid people when you shop.
Yes. So I've noticed, so my goal is 8,000. I have yet to hit.
Really?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
I am not kidding. I'm being as transparent.
Wow. Okay, so research have shown that it's not the 10,000 minimum. It's like 8,300. If you get over that, you have huge benefits, cardiovascular.
8,000 is that
8,000. Yeah, 8,300. They say. If you, just like Ingrid or just like anyone, if you have not tracked, we did this in my membership group. I had everyone track. If you have a smartphone, your smartphone would automatically track. You just need to carry it with you, and because it can't track when you're not there. If you have a watch, of course, it's easier because it's usually on your wrist at all times, or an Oura ring or something like that. But if you have not tracked your steps, I think that's where you need to start. You need to see what your baseline is. Can I tell you how many steps I had yesterday?
Yes, probably 18,000.
27,000. Thank you very much. So my minimum, absolute minimum, is 15. That's on a travel day when I'm spent 8 hours in the car. If I don't get in 15, then I'll run around the house. But on a regular day, my goal is 20. Yesterday, I ran a little. I did a sprint interval training, and then I walked. And then I just did stuff around the house, went to the store.
Yeah.
Normal Sunday.
And even at work, now that I'm tracking, I might end up getting the watch. Yeah. Because at work, I leave the phone in my room.
Yeah, and it's often you just don't. Yeah, I think, and there are cheap watches you can, like Fitbit watches, you can buy on Amazon for like $30, even lower than that.
It's out of sight, out of mind, because you don't think about it. And when I started tracking, I think one day it was like 1,200 steps. I was like,
that's hard to walk that little, unless you're bedridden.
I'm like, oh my! And I walk chance. Sometimes, one of those days.
Yeah, because really, 1,000 steps is just something like 20 minutes of walking, or 10 minutes.
Yeah. And I think it was raining that day. So if I walk chance in the morning and at night, that takes care of 6,000.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
If I do the mile, it's like a mile and a half.
There you go.
But anyways, tracking is huge.
So tracking is, and walking really helps. We can scuff at walking and say that's not exercise. Well, you know what? If you're not doing anything and if you're sitting down a lot, walking will get you started.
And it's walking, not just moving steps up and down.
No.
I have a...
No.
Yeah, it's walking.
Well, you can walk in place if you're doing it vigorously with your arms. Now, we've talked about this before too, fitness snacks. So this, and it's a way to think about moving. So if you don't have time to go to the gym or do, planned exercise for an hour in the day, that's fine. If you just move for 2 minutes every hour, and it can be air squats, it could be jumping jacks, it could be walking around the house, it could be anything. If you do that for 2 minutes every hour throughout the day, it has been shown to be more beneficial than doing 1 hour exercise and then sit for the rest of the day. Because it's that, again, it's about consistency. Moving your body throughout the day is more beneficial than an hour of vigorous workout morning or night. So it's not like that 1 hour is bad, but it's not sweating profusely for 1 hour. It's going to have the same benefits as moving modestly around or for 2 minutes each hour. So it really is important that even if you go to the gym, that you're still moving the body throughout the day. It almost negates, if you're sitting down for the rest of the day, it negates the workout you've done.
Yeah.
Because your body then, again, is sedentary. So I've said this so many times, but that parking away from the entrance and not doing delivery or curbside, that adds up.
No, it definitely, even now, Victor's working from home. It is, he's sitting down. I'm like, you have to move.
Yeah. You should get him a treadmill desk or a treadmill, a pad. Tried. Those are not expensive either.
He said no.
He said no. Okay. Can you just strap him on?
Maybe. I said, hey, we should
maybe you just need to go home and chase him.
But he's like, oh no. I was like, that'd be good. You're just walking all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't have to walk fast, because my problem is I could not have that because my balance is so bad. So even if I walk on the treadmill and try to read my phone, I can't do that. I fall. So that's why I need to choose. So I'll go out and go walk and then sit down and do whatever. Now, I know that for me, it's not hard to hit 20,000 because I do not have a job that requires me to sit down. I don't have a sedentary job like you do, where you're sitting in one spot. I don't. So I know that, I'm fortunate that way. But that's why it's even more important when you have a sedentary job that you plan for those movements.
Hey, you don't think about it until
So tracking is the number one step to, no pun intended. It's the number one step. Okay. Now, in movement, we've talked about this many times before as well, but this is really, these are the basic foundation things you need to do. Weight training, lifting heavy things. So as we age, sarcopenia happens, the breakdown of muscle. And it's also, muscle is also the metabolic sink of your body. The more muscle you have, the more things you can eat, the more you can get away with. It sucks up the sugar in your blood. So it really muscles have no downside, just like red light therapy. Muscles have no downside, only upside. But I think this is interesting since we're talking mainly to women. Being strong and lifting weights have a bigger impact on our everyday lives than it does men. Because think about it, things in our environment like car doors or heavy doors to stores or overhead compartments in airplanes, they're all going to be the same for men and women. They're automatically stronger than we are.
So
those things don't really affect them. Whereas for us, if we're small in stature and weaker, those things can be really hard to maneuver in life, right? Or heavy bags from the grocery store. We're buying the same amount of groceries, men and women. It's just harder for us women because we are genetically weaker. If the stronger we get, the easier life in general gets for us because things around us are not as much of an obstacle. So, I've heard that many times. Women have said, and you see it on airplanes all the time, getting bag up, and you always need to ask for help to put your luggage in the overhead compartment. And then when you can do it for yourself, I always get out. Well, can I help you? And was like, oh, no, I got it. That's fine. I got it. And people think, you're, she's too proud to ask for help. No, seriously, it's a heavy bag. You might not be able to get it down. I know I can get it down. So yeah, it's really, it can be such a huge benefit for women.
I can see that.
To increase their strength and build a little more muscle.
It feels good when you're.
It's great.
Like it feels,
strong is the new skinny.
It's just
that's the way it is.
When you can lift some weight, you're like, oh,
yeah,
so good,
so good. And again, sarcopenia, the muscle breakdown is happening, and it happens as we age. It's a natural progression of aging, unless you can work against it. And the good thing is you can build muscle all through your life. It's going to be a little harder. You have to work harder as you age, but it's not impossible. There has been research and tests done where 90-year-olds have had muscle hypertrophy, built muscle. So just keep at it. And of course, the best time to start was yesterday, and the second best time to start is today. So no more excuses. We're going to move, and we're going to build some muscle. And then another thing to think about when it comes to movement is, especially for the gym crowd, or even if you're trying to do some workout at home, don't wing it. Because workout takes some, especially weightlifting, but even some functional movements, it takes some skill and form in order to do it correctly. And I look at weightlifting or workout programs like a recipe. So some people who are really good at cooking don't need recipes. They can just wing it. They can just go into the kitchen, know exactly what spices to use, how much. Great, then go for it. But most of us might need a recipe to follow. And if you're brand new to cooking, you definitely need a recipe because you have no idea. Look at a good workout program the same way.
Yeah.
So if you are new or fairly new or starting something you haven't done before, ask for help, find a program. There are great programs online that you can do, or just hire a trainer only for a couple of sessions. It's a great investment, and then you will know what to do on your own. All right. So that was sleep, movement. The third rock we're going to discuss is, shocker, nutrition.
Dun, dun, dun.
What do we stuff our faces with? And the old saying is, you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. And it is so true. Another thing to think about is, I can eat whatever I want. I'm just going to exercise more. Sure. But think about it as, we're all going to eat. And you're going to eat every day. You probably won't exercise every day. So again, it's that consistency, quantity, and quality. You want to make sure you get a good diet. And when I say diet, it's not a fad diet. It's just a lifestyle diet that you eat in a way that promotes your health.
Good nutrition.
Good nutrition. So, and something I heard someone say is like pregnancy, when you're pregnant, food is like a 3D, no, yeah, when you're pregnant, it's a 3D printing through food. Because food are think about it, our cells renew themselves all the time. So really, we're not the same person from 1 month to three months down the line. Our cells have renewed. And especially when you're pregnant, you're making a new human being. All of that, all the building material comes from food, from what you eat. So when you want to make sure the materials are the best, especially when you're printing a new human.
That's what you would think people would want to do.
You would think so, yeah. But food are the molecules that make up who you are. So again, one of my favorite sayings is shit in, shit out.
You are what you eat.
You are what you eat. So some of the things you can think about if you're like, yeah, but I don't know what to start. So bear with me. Got you covered. Avoid the big blood sugar spikes. So we're going to have glucose reactions. We're going to have blood spikes in our day, but we don't want it to look like, the most extreme roller coaster. We want it to look like the kiddie rides, the small bumps, up and down, up and down. Because when you go up super high, then you got to come down super high, and that's when you crash. And this is especially important right as the first meal of the day, how we set ourselves up for the day. So that's breakfast. So, and traditionally, what is traditional breakfast food?
Traditionally, either cereal,
super high glucose,
like
oatmeal, super high glucose. Egg is good. Pancakes, super high glucose because it's all carbs. So avoid eating carbs only your first meal of the day. So if you're eating, I talked about that in one of my earlier hacks. If you love oatmeal in the morning, well, make sure to mix it with some protein powders or have eggs with it or something. Because again, protein, which is one of the other building most important things for nutrition, so important that we eat it the first thing in the morning.
Yeah. I always tell the children to kind of mix, if it's a protein and a carb, sometimes I have peanut butter, which is a little high in sugar, but, peanut butter being the protein and a banana.
Well, you know what? Peanut butter is one of the worst proteins you can eat. It really is not a complete protein, and it's really not good. Then it's better to eat an almond butter.
Well,
yes.
They're hoping to move over to almond butter. Right now, it's, maybe that's a bad example.
Or a protein
cheese
powder.
stick and an apple. So they kind of, I always try to tell them do a little bit of both.
Yep.
So
because that would blunt the sugar spike. Yeah, a little
peanut
fat
butter,
with your
bad example. But,
yes.
A
lot of sugar, not so much protein.
Or turkey roll up with cheese.
That is good.
So okay.
Yeah, but really try to make sure if you do like carbs in the morning, make it carbs and protein. The worst thing you to do is to only eat carbs and fats and no protein, like a pancake.
You can do a protein pancake.
Well, that's okay. Then you've added protein to it.
Yes.
All right. So again, protein overall. We talked about muscle. Yeah. And what are the building blocks of muscle? It's protein. So really increasing protein. If you're going to do nothing else for your nutrition, if you're saying, I don't know about, I can't deal with all this, I don't know, diets or anything, just increase protein. And when you eat a meal, eat your protein first. So if you're going to have a steak and you want French fries or some other carb-loaded thing with it, if you eat the meat first, and then you can have the French fries. Because guess what? Protein is also the most satiating of all the macronutrients. So if you eat your protein first, you're going to have less of the crappy foods.
Interesting, because in the United States, they always do dinner, bread.
Yes.
And then they have,
well, so does Europe, the bread basket. So the best thing you can do is don't do any carb appetizers. You can do like hummus or shrimp or whatever.
Yeah.
And if they have a bread basket and you happen to love bread, ask them to just keep it and have it after you finish your meal.
You're not going to want it.
Well, there you go.
No, that's just interesting because they do the bread, and they do the salad, and usually the salad is iceberg, which doesn't really have.
Yeah, but salad is fine. You can, but it's not really going to fill you up.
That's what I'm saying. So then when you get to dinner,
that's like water. Yeah,
you may have a little bit of the dinner or all the dinner because you haven't had really good nutrients.
Yeah, worst part is if you do first the bread basket, then you order a portion of truffle fries as your appetizer, and then your dinner. Well, then you kind of screwed. Have your truffle fries after you eat your protein.
I'll have it with the protein. I love truffle fries.
2 bites of protein, 1 truffle fry. I'm not saying you can't have it, but just by switching the order, you're going to see
that makes sense.
Difference.
I just think it's interesting how we're in society. It's what we shouldn't.
Well, it's
interesting. It's
all.
Just
there's something with the body too. They call the protein level hypothesis. Is that your body is going to keep eating until it's found its correct nutrients. So if you only eat carbs and fat, you're not going to feel full because your body is still looking for substance, still looking for building blocks. So you're going to keep eating.
Makes so much sense.
So if you eat the protein first, you're not going to order as much in the restaurant, and they don't want that because they want you to keep ordering.
I know.
Yeah. So switch the order of which you eat. First, great tip. Secondly, and this is not secondly, thirdly, I think it is. Anyway, we've talked about this so many times, but I think it's one of those easy, or not easy, but simple tricks that you can do that will change everything. Start eating 1 ingredient foods, meaning cut out all the processed foods. Anything with a label, cut it out. And didn't we have a little challenge? See how many days you can go without eating something out of a bag or a box. So with 1 ingredient food, it is a steak, a chicken, a sweet potato, a tomato, anything that when you eat it as close to its original form and how it came into this world. So really processed foods is the big evil in today's society. Fiber is something else we're not getting nearly enough of. A good fiber, and you and I are both tracking macros, so it's very interesting to see. You think you're eating fiber foods, but you're not. So a good daily intake of fiber is about 25 grams of fiber. The average American gets somewhere like under 10. Yes, under 10. So, and some people only get like 4 or 5 grams of fiber. And fiber, really helps with satiety, but also helps the whole system work,
which is the central part of your body.
So fiber really is, and one of the most fiber-rich foods you can eat. Do you know what that is? Not Metamucil. No. Avocado. If you think a fattier food like that is not fiber-rich, super high in fiber. It's a real superfood. And also, raspberries, really high in fiber.
My children love.
Well, there you go. That's good. Okay. So another thing we talked about when we in our saving money episode too is make food at home. cut out eating out so much, because when you make the food, you control what's in the food. And you save a lot of money doing it. And a lot of people that I know that don't cook or feel challenged in the kitchen, I would say go to Pinterest. You can put in, and we said that in that money saving episode too. You can put in whatever thing you say. I feel like chicken, or I feel like some vegetable or something. Just put that ingredient in, search, and you will get a ton of recipes, sometimes with videos on great foods that you can make at home. I will say I love cooking, as you know, and probably most people know by now. And most of my recipes I get from Pinterest. Yeah, it's a great source. And then if you're pressed for time and feel slightly challenged in the kitchen, I think those meal service options Hello Fresh or Blue Apron or whatever they're called, Green Chef, those are great options. They can be a little costly, but the good thing is you do not have any food waste because it's all pre-measured. So you're not going to buy a bunch of things that you're not going to use. Because I know sometimes you're like, oh, it's buy one, get one free. Oh, great. And you never use it. So the good thing is it's always the right amount when you buy those. And I think maybe it's what you need to get started. Or maybe you do a meal service a couple times a week. But that's a great way because most of them are pretty healthy, or you can at least pick healthy options from the menu. Okay, that was nutrition. It's a lot in nutrition, but it's very important because we eat every day, right? And then the fourth rock, which together with sleep really are like the bookends. It's so important for your health, your physical health, to have strong mental health. So just like with sleep, if you're lacking in that department, it can be really tough to master any of the nutrition or movement. So, and we've done episodes on mental health as well, where we dug deep, but just kind of like the cliff notes for mental health is just like with sleep. It's to start outside. Spend more time outside. Yeah. Nowadays, research has shown that we spend, or the average American spend 90% of our time indoors, in boxes. And that's not how, we came about. That's not how we lived and it's something that's happened over the last century. I mean, before that, everyone spent way more time outside. But when we're inside in our little boxes in our electronic world, we're away from the source. We're away from the things we came from: earth, sun, wind. So again, that morning sunlight and grounding is so important for your mental health.
I concur.
Then we have stress, which is, we had a whole episode on stress.
Sure did.
And of course, we can't get away from it. And some stress is good for us, good stress. But if the bad stress, we need to be able to at least control, again, like with the glucose spikes. We're going to have a little up and down, but let's try to make them kiddie rides and not the
roller coasters.
Huge roller coasters. So things like meditation, exercise is wonderful for your mood, and there's all those endorphins that are released, serotonin, and all those things. Yeah, good outlets for anger. Yes, I think that's
a great idea.
Boxing is awesome for that. And breath work is another thing. That's breathing is something we all do too, and sometimes we do it in a way that really is not beneficial for our health. That's kind of shallow breathing. And
what causes the panic attack.
Yes,
is you're having a panic attack, shortness of breath, and then you continue the shortness of breath, and your heart is pounding because it's fighting to get air.
Yeah.
So you're making it worse. So it's learning. That's a huge one to learn.
Yeah.
Breath work is pretty. Sometimes when my children sigh, I'm like, what was that? No, mom, I was just doing breath work.
Oh.
I'm like, oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that nobody listening uses it, but yeah, they pulled that on me. I'm like,
okay. For mental health, too, something that has been shown over and over and over in research, your social network. And I'm not talking about Facebook or Instagram. I'm talking about who you surround yourself with, who you spend time with, who you are influenced by, and who kind of fills your bucket. In communities that have a lot of time together, a lot of social time, a lot of the blue zones around the world, one thing they have in common is time in community, time with other people, spent with friends and families. So in today's 90% of our time spending indoors, we become isolated and we become more lonely. Or we spend that 90% indoors with people we don't like, which can definitely put a strain on your mental health.
Mm-hmm, definitely.
So really evaluate who are you. You become like the 5 people you hang around, right?
Yeah.
So who are you surrounding yourself with? And I do think, since we are so connected to other social medias and things online, it's important to reevaluate who you're listening to online. What podcasts are you listening to? Who are you following on Instagram? If it's negative information all the time, that's gonna definitely put you in a very different mood.
Yes.
Than
there's a lot of things in the social media that are not true.
Yeah, and you can control your algorithm on social media. You just make sure to like things that are uplifting and good for you, people that you want to be like. If you start liking those posts, your algorithm will steer you away from the more negative content. And something else we talked about to kind of finish it off today, something we talked about before too, is for mental health or for your well-being in general, finding, so to speak, your purpose, which sounds very grandiose, but it's really finding little reasons why, finding your reasons why in every day, not your reason for existing, your reason for today. What is your reason for getting up tomorrow? And it can be something like, because I'm going to get my 10,000 steps, right? Or because I'm going to go see my best friend. Or it can be because I'm gonna volunteer at the shelter, or whatever it is. I'm gonna pet a dog, whatever it is. But finding that in every day is super important for mental health. So that was my cliff notes on Health for Dummies. So the 4 big rocks are sleep, movement, nutrition, and mental health. Got to master those first, and then we get all fancy with our fancy red light masks and our ice plunging and all the other stuff. But we got to do the basics first.
Love it.
And these are things that are low or no cost. I mean, food is of course, cost, but you're going to buy food, so make sure to do it at low cost.
We have SMNN.
SMNN. Yes. Sounds like an SM. Sounded kinky for a while there, but that's where my brain goes. That's true. That has movement. Time with let's not go there. Let's not go there.
Well, that's
fun. Another show for you.
No, we can talk about that too. No, that's another show. Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers, and to our health. Bye-bye.